Well, hello, anybody. Blender Pretender here, playing with Blender and posting it online for fun. Coming to you with Microphone Therapy Podcast number 2. That's a joke, of course. Maybe not that funny, but it's not a podcast and it's not therapy. But since I'm speaking into the microphone, into the ether, I'm going to consider it such rather than talk to my bartender. I suppose I'll just talk to the microphone. If I do continue doing anything else, maybe that's what I'll do. Today, I'm doing UVs. Why? Because I got a comment. The last video that I posted, I was not expecting. I got a comment. I got 2 comments actually, but I got one comment asking about UVs. Really asking if Blender's worth learning. I think if you're doing renderings for things that are realistic, things that, I mean, at least AI gets a lot of realistic stuff, but I mean, the stuff that I'm working on with this has to be what's actually going to be proposed to be built. So it needs to look physically correct, right? So for that kind of stuff, yes, we're still doing that. So like architectural visualization is what I'm talking about, things like that. So, and I mean, because AI can make everything fake, but then it's like relative, like it could be anywhere in the world, that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, I got the comment about that and the comment about UVs. While the commenter never got back to me, I said, do you want to see a video? Maybe I'll just do a short video showing how to do UVs. Because I did make the mention in the comments. I don't do tutorials. I should say that up front. This is not a tutorial. I'm sharing stuff. If it's beneficial for you, great. I hope it is. Otherwise, I'm just sharing because a tutorial implies the responsibility to do all the research or a lot of research to make sure that I'm not leading people astray. With that said, I'm not leading you astray. I'm doing what I know, sharing it, and of course, there's always going to be people that can always comment back and say, "Hey, there's I do this or that's done better this way, whatever," which is great. It's just basically, yeah, just in the spirit of the or rather the open source spirit of Blender, or the spirit of just being able to share the stuff that you're doing so that other people can make use of it. That's why I did my videos. And but again, they're not tutorials, but I'm going to unwrap this light fixture. I'm going on and on without explaining. In my previous video, I modeled this light fixture. In this video, I will UV unwrap it. Okay, so let's just move on. I'm going to use the workspace for UV editing. When I modeled it, I just jump back and forth. When I'm like in the modeling, I'll go to the edit mode or go into the sculpt mode. And that's what these are intended to do, to get you into the mode, with settings already preset to facilitate what you're doing there. For that reason, I'm going to use the workspace. I'm not just going to do it here from the layout. The layout tab is really intended for you to lay out your scene, right? But I'm going to jump into the UV editing space. From the previous video, excuse me. Had to cough there. So from the previous video, I modeled only the Cobra. I'm going to call it the Cobra light. Only the Cobra part of this light. And I should make a note that the geometry is not very good. I didn't retopologize it. I left the video saying this needs to be retopologized. I didn't do it, and I'm not going to do it because the rendering is going to be from afar to where it doesn't matter. It just looks somewhat like the light. Going forward, I may get actual pictures of this light and see if I need to do tweaks here and there. But no, I'm not going to do that. But I added the tube here that holds it and the base. They're all part of one object you can see here. you probably can't tell here, but if you go back to the layout, if I go into the edit mode, um, or rather turn it off here, they're all part of one object, which still has the mirror modifier. And I'm going to keep it in the mirror modifier and try to just have get my brain to wrap around to what I'm doing would eventually apply to everything, right? As I'm cutting the seams for the UV. Yeah, again, the geometry is not great. I just added from the previous video to this one, I added some vertices and tried to place them in such a way that it would help these not to get pinched so much. Likewise on the bottom, but it's not ideal. The best way to do this, once you have the shape, the overall shape, is to use another object, shrink wrap it to this one, and use it to retopologize, and then you can do your nice quad counts and loops in the nicest way possible. But I didn't do that. Okay, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna unwrap this one. So okay, just for the sake of the video and sake that it will show how to do the unwrap. By the way, I'm not doing this video necessarily. I am responding to the commenter, even though he didn't respond back to me. I'm doing the video also for the person that's actually going to be using this slide in their scene. They're learning the workflow and the process with Blender. And even though they have background in other programs, they're still dealing with this one. And so I did ask him, hey, it's like if it's a legitimate question for somebody who doesn't know Blender online, but I asked the person, hey, do you think you could benefit from this one? And maybe I could kill two birds with one stone, right? And he says, yeah, maybe perhaps that could help me out. I'm not sure if he's here yet because we're not really doing materials, what you would call texture materials, where we're doing texture painting, things like that. We're not doing that. But anyway, let's hope it helps both people out or more, whoever's watching, Okay, let's get to it. So let me see. I already am prepping this up. I already did a full UV unwrap just to see where it goes. So like if you just select everything, right now I'm in the edit mode in the UV editing workspace. I select everything and then just unwrap it. Let me turn this guy on too to see if it works, if it's gonna work. There we go. It should be on. I just turned it on. And there we go. So maybe hopefully that's not too distracting and it works. So if you select everything, you just go unwrap, you're going to get, some very basic options. Some are self-explanatory as you go down here, right? You get self-explanatory, how you're going to project. And then there's the angle based, and then there's other stuff that you can do in here. Options that you can mess around with in here. But I'm not too familiar with them. I usually don't really focus on that a lot. Maybe I should learn some of that. But what I normally do is I just start adding seams and unwrapping as I go, and then you can start seeing it over here start to take shape. Maybe also as if I'm talking to somebody that just has no idea. I'm not saying that, the commenter or the person that I'm working with has no idea about UVs, but just to explain it a little bit more thoroughly. I'm going to choose the face selection and choose that face. And let me see. So you can see the faces on here, but I'm going to turn this guy on over here. So that keeps the selections in sync. So let's choose. Okay, there's that one right there. It's the bigger one. The whole concept of the UV is that you're going to map the vertices to a X and Y. The X is 1 and the Y is 1. So you're going to map that vertex to a location that's going to be somewhere between 0 and 1 on the X and 0 and 1 on the Y. Of whatever image is that you're going to be using as the map. So the UV is essentially a map, and it just has the coordinates. So if I go into the vertex selection and select that vertex, that means that vertex from this 3D object is going to sample the pixel color of an image. When I don't have an image now, but when I do have an image, it's going to sample the pixel color of that image at that location. And this one, for example, is the other vertex there. That's going to sample the color of the image in that location, and everything in between is going to be interpolated in between. It's linear, I believe. The whole interpolation is linear. And that's the basic concept of the UV map, and you try to fit it within the boundary of your image, and you just, that's how you get the color that if you use an image like a realistic photo, that's how you get it to look more realistic, and you get the color, or the albedo, it's called, right, of the, or the, you use it as a diffuse texture, right, in Blender. For, yeah, I believe it's the albedo. Maybe I'm making things up. I can't remember now. But yeah, so all we got to do is put seams such that when it gets unwrapped, it's flatter and flatter, and we make the best use that we can of this square. That's it. That's all of the concept. And I'm going to start with a tough one, because also I don't want to spend too much time. Let's see how fast I can go. But basically, you select edges like these, went all the way over there. And let's see, let me get rid of the subdivision so that I can see clearly. And I'm going to pick from there to here. Control plus C gives me the menu to mark the seams. There it is, 1. So now I've basically cut, there's no connection now between these faces and this faces when it actually does the unwrapping. I can select everything, go U, unwrap. Boop. And now we can see certain things are starting to shift. I saw a little thing come out here. That's probably this. Here it is. But it's also still being warped because these edges right here probably should also have like, they should be cut. Imagine like when you're doing gift wrapping and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is continue just unwrapping as fast as I can and see how fast I can go after I take a little bit of my therapy drink. Yeah, I'm calling this microphone therapy because if I didn't do this, I'd otherwise have to go to the bar and talk to the bartender, right? Joking. I don't go to bars. I just very rarely engage in a drink. And since I'm just having fun here with Blender, I'm doing it now. So, not encouraging anyone to do so. What I'm going to do is do the shortest path selection, but there's the option in Blender to, instead of just select, to do tag seam. And that's how I'm going to proceed and try to do it fast. So that's the concept. I've already, talked enough. Now when I do the unwrap, these won't have to be connected, and it should be smoother there. Let me see also, because I'm going to be viewing this from the bottom, I'm going to take this guy and then do it here in the top. And go all the way to, let me see, this is where it gets thin, right? The portion where it gets thin. I'm going to make a guess and go down this way. And bring it all the way down here. Beep. No, maybe I should have done the other one. So while this one is still the active edge, I can just backtrack. I can also just double click it. I'm going to use that edge right there. Beep. Yeah, there you go. And then take this one out that way. And so now I'm imagining what's going to happen. So this is going to flap out that way, right? Because it's curving here, I'm almost thinking that I might need to just do that guy there too. And let me see. So I'm going to have to use my synapses here to try to imagine this. So this is going to be a flap. One of these is going to flap. It's going to flap. It's either, I need to put either a seam here or a seam here so that the faces on the bottom. You can't see them, right? But they're there. There's some faces on the bottom. That's the way it was modeled. Are going to flap out one way or another. And I'm thinking that the way that I'm going to send it is probably to the front one. Let's see how it goes. Beep, beep. That way it puts the seam back where nobody sees it. And then these guys, these little corners, are also going to cause a little trouble. I already took care of that corner there, but then this guy, when it comes out, I'm going to get rid of that guy there. And so, okay, there we go. I think, and then I'm imagining that it continues and it's got the duplicate on that side. Okay, let's do that. We got to do this guy here as well. Move over here. There we go. And then do the same thing. Let's take that one down so we can see better. All right, so that's done for those. And then I'm just going to select A, U, unwrap. I'll check it out here in a minute. So then this guy probably needs to be unwrapped from this corner, this edge right here. Beep, beep, right? And then I need to unwrap this guy over here. From there to here. Yep, the gestures are too sensitive. There we go. Oh, again. There we go. All right. I think I got those. So A, U, unwrap. Let's see how that starts looking over here. So you can already see some stuff is, breaking up. So this must be the post. This is the bottom of the light, I believe. This is the top. And you can see how it's warping out like that, right? I already added a seam to try to help. Maybe I should add another seam right here to try to help that warping. And that would be, if I select that edge, I can period on the number pad here and see which one it is over here. There, got that one. Okay. I think that's okay. Now, the circle, that's this guy right here. These are the ones, the indentations. This is the circle. It's got the little splits. Yeah, it does. That's good. I was looking in here. It's probably going to be a little warping here. So there's a way. It's this one, angle-based UV stretch. So this is going to show us where it's got the most stretching. I think it goes to, I have no idea. It looks like it goes to yellow, where it's super stretched. I really have no idea how severe it is or what color we want to get, but I can tell by this face right here, which I believe is going to be this face. Yep, that face. It's blue. So I'm going to guess that blue is the color we want, right? All right, so I'm going to leave the circle alone. There's hardly little things that can be seen in here, even though, yeah, I'm going to leave that one alone. In there. And then come and do what I did over here. The same thing that we did with the indentations, I'm going to do it over here. Oh, wrong one. Control Z. And up to here. Okay, so I got that. That should unwrap and then help a lot of this out. Okay, I'm gonna choose the face selection and then just select all of these faces. and just say H to hide it. Oh, there's more in here. So I'm going to go link, link, link. I think I'm choosing seam. I haven't found rhyme or reason. Sometimes I'm doing the link selection and I'm not sure why. Sometimes it just gives you, I'm not kidding you. Sometimes, not even dealing with this, you'll get material or seam or something like that. At least for me. Hide. Okay. We're going to choose where, not we. There's no we here. It's just me. So I'm going to choose, let me see. This guy. Oh, 2. There it is. There we go. Got the seams. Do that guy. Okay. I think that'll work. Alt H A U unwrapped. Okay. Alt A. So you can still see some green. I got rid of the circle. That's probably that one over there. And then this, let's find out what this is. Oh, this is the base. Still have to get to the base. That's fine. This is going to be the light. Looks good. This one, probably not so much. All right. Okay. So let's do the post first. So I'm going to go link. So everything there is hide it. Let's do the post. I have to imagine what's going to happen when I apply the mirror modifier. Man. Oh, come on, man. I got to change the sensitivity and the gestures. I'm trying to be here. Come on. Here. Here. Not here, but here. All right. So for, we already know from the unboxing of a box, you basically just have a little flap, right? So I'm going to use these to hide it. I'm going to call this the flap portion. And the unfortunate thing is that I'm going to add a seam down this edge. But then what's going to happen is that it's going to duplicate it. And I'll have to erase that one when I apply the modifier. Nope, I don't need this one. So there, does that. And now I'm going to do the little corners there. And I think that's about as much as I need to do right there. That's going to flap open. Now I'll do this guy because it's the back, right? It's the back, right? Where is it? Where's the selection? Yeah, it's the back. This guy in the back. Okay. All right, all the way over here. I need to do the bottom. I added a plane just to ground it, right? So let's go into the local mode. Get rid of that. Link and hide. That way we can do this guy. And it's flapping from here, right? There we go. I think that will work. Alt H A U unwrap. Now, one thing that I'm seeing here is it's not ideal, but so this is way too tall, too long. So I'm going to cut every one of these seams. So I'm going to do that. Can I select that one? No, it's not letting me. So I'm going to select this guy. mark the seam. AU unwrap. Okay, so we cut it up into pieces. There's, yeah, it's cutting these guys back here into separate pieces. This guy. I'll fix that when I apply the modifier. If you're doing texture painting, that, you know, maybe the bleed as you're painting on this edges, it could, you know, it won't be noticeable. But what that does is that helps these to actually be bigger on the image, and that way, you know, you don't have to have a huge high resolution image, right? All right, link shift H. Now we're going to unwrap this guy, and let's find the back. We're going to keep it to the back here and unwrap this guy. Yeah, so I'm going to flap from here to there. I'm calling it flap, but basically that's what I'm imagining. It's like, yeah, like the, you know, the flaps of a box. The flapping of the box. This might be an issue here because of this shape. So that's going to flap out that way. This is coming around, so I need this guy. Control Z, that guy, to that guy. Yep, and then this guy. These are also going to be duplicated, so in this case, it's not really helping me out much to have the mirror modifier. I'm going to end up working it anyway. Yeah, I think that's work. What did I do here? No, I don't need to do that. I can do that guy like that. So see, I'm going crazy already. Maybe it's time for a drink. A little bit more therapy. So I'm just going to do it. Unwrap that one. I don't need this one then. Yeah, because there's going to be warping that's going to happen there, and we'll see how that works. So I don't have one here. I'm wrapping that one. So then really, I don't need this guy either. Get rid of that guy, but then bring this guy over. Let's do it like that instead. Like that. So we're gonna take these finally. Okay, where's the box? Okay, so these are probably what's happening here. What's happening here, I think. So if I, yeah, that won't help out. So probably, let me do this. Get rid of these guys. And then take that one all together. Mark seam. right? And I think this will do better. Let's see. Okay, you can see these have straightened out. That's doing a little bit better. Now these are, oh no, that's actually the bottom one. Okay, but just with those seams over there, this is doing better. Why is this a little bit warped? Oh, because I got it. Because if you look at it, it's got a little bit of a taper or an angle. So for that, I'm just going to choose this guy. It's pretty square, but I'm going to check anyways. Let me take that guy, turn on the vertices, grab X, beep, grab Y, beep, grab Y, beep, and then grab X. Okay, so there should be a square. So I have it selected. All right. So here I can go link, and then I can use seam. So it's only got these. And the U, follow the active quad. And it kind of straightens things out a little bit. But I can see that there's a problem here, wherever that is. That's this guy. Didn't know where to go. It just doesn't know where to go. So that edge is this edge. There's a way to snap it. I don't know how. So, for example, that should be there. I just didn't know where to go. There's a way to make these. I'm just going to do it by. There's a way to merge these, I believe. UV. There's the merge. M. It's M. I'm just going to put them, eyeball them. That's fine. The other one's probably doing the same thing. So there, rotate. It's close enough. I would merge them if I was actually going to do paint. Maybe I can do some painting on here. I'll put some stains, things like that. Okay, so everything's looking nice and blue except for this guy over here. And then there's this guy over here. So that is that guy. Okay, it makes sense. I need there. No, link. Make sure it's the whole thing is fine. You unwrap. Now they're kind of like overlapping with each other, right? But what I can do is UV Pack Island. There's options. I can just mess around with them. I don't Control Z. So select everything. You Pack Islands. There we go. Okay. Little bit better over there. That's the bottom. This guy. A little better, but not quite, right? I'm going to undo that one and then add 2 here and here. Link, you, unwrap. Okay, little bit better. I don't like that. The rotation, probably. I don't want to unwrap these guys anymore because I went through the process of doing the active quad. What I can do is link, hide. Let's take everything, you unwrap, and then Alt H, pack island. Make sure I don't have the rotation. I can rotate them to what I want. What is this guy? There's something over here that's, why is it so by itself? There's no reason why it should be by itself. Is Control plus L, Shift H. Let's look at it carefully. Yep, it's this guy. Link, material, no, seam. There's no, this should unwrap very nicely. You unwrap. There we go. It should be total. Then there's these other little things, these little corners that I added everywhere. I think those are the ones that pertain to Alt H, A. Now you can see there's a problem there because this is huge compared to the size, right? And I think I thought it would take care of the scaling. So the scaling here, it allows it to scale, but it's obviously, you know, too big. It should be at most. Let me make sure that I'm in the face selection, right? And do the medium point. It should really be almost as big as that. And that's about it. Right? It's about proportionally sized to this guy and the tubes. So I'm packing these a lot. Just I was packing the islands hoping that it would make that assessment, the program would, but it doesn't, obviously, as to which ones are too big for their size. But they look somewhat proportional. But this is not. I keep packing them, but this is not. I need the double of these to actually fit in here, right? So I'm going to save. So I'm very good with that already in terms of the color. The color looks like it's not a lot of warping. Some here, some here. But now I'm going to apply the mirror modifier. After I have a drink. Let me just undo that, so make sure that it was clipping. It was. Apply. Okay. Now we're going to see the duplicate work. Meaning I don't need 2 of these. So let's go back to the UV editing. I need, really, it's a Cobra. It's a Cobra light. I only need 1. Oh, look, maybe that's why it was doing these things. So that one didn't get the seam. I'm surprised. Well, I wasn't paying too much attention. There we go. Oh, local 7. Where is it? The gestures are too much. Well, I use Blender for work. Like I kind of like forced myself to use Blender for work. There, that guy needs to be undone too. But I can see, I don't know. I mean, I could see with Ton gone and everything. He's not gone. You know, he's obviously still said he was going to be like on the board and stuff like that. But, you know, you got new leadership. That's what I want to call it. And with the AI stuff happening and the fact that Blender's essentially intended to just, you know, fake, you know, render and fake. The rendering that the AI does now is very good. With that, I forgot where I was going with that. I'm thinking about what I have 2 seams here, but they don't go anywhere. So I got to figure out what I'm going to do. Where was I going with it? With what I was saying? Yeah, so these have to flap down. Let's take these to here. Where's the top part? Oh, that's the back. Okay, that's good. Oh, it's actually this side. Maybe I should do, since I have it like this now, maybe I should do, yeah, the follow active quad. Nice arrangement that I did here is gonna go the waist. I forgot where I was going with the train of thought about, you know, where Blender's gonna go, where it's gonna be used and all that. Other than it's gonna have to keep up with the AI, I guess is what I was trying to say. Keep up with the stuff that, you know, you can consider this a form of artwork, but at the same time, you know, it's kind of not. It was just always intended to be a way to facilitate the creation of images. And the UVs are one of those things that would be awesome if an AI can take care of them. Why would we want this to be something we can get a machine to actually, you know, consider? I got rid of them altogether. So I was going to say that's the edge back there. And I'm going to add the same here. So now this is going to flap up. This one's going to flap up. And yeah, the same. Which side did I do? I did this side. There. And there. Yeah, so who knows where the leadership is going to go with the Blender. I mean, they're still around. I'm still going to use it, and I use it for work for the, you know, all the time. For more like a drafting or a CAD capacity is what I use it for. But, you know, I have no idea how long that's gonna that kind of stuff is gonna last. Okay, I think it's done. I got rid of the edge on the pole. Now it's just everything should unwrap fine. Let's take everything then and just do the unwrap again. And watch everything break. Nope, it didn't. I just have some funny stuff happening here. Why is this so odd? Considering that it's the mirror. So if I select that, it's the same shape for both, but the reason that it gets, warped over here, I don't understand why that would be the case. Unless, of course, with the application of the modifier, there's just a very slight difference in the coordinates for each. That's that edge versus this edge. I don't really see why it should be any different. This one looks symmetrical. This one does not. And right now I'm trying to figure out if there's a seam that I would have marked over here that I didn't on this side. Yeah, you can see where this gets warped. That looks fine. What is this? That is the base, it looks like. That's the post. Link H. Nope. If I do link on this side, oh, it's the interior. The interior of the base. So I'm going to link again, but using the shift here to get rid of that. All right. Now why? Should be fully cut. Oh, it doesn't have a vertical seam. So maybe that's... Where's the back? There. And then what is this? This is the bottom. I really don't need the bottom. I could probably erase that geometry and get rid of, but that's basically going to be this. And maybe even, yeah, I don't need the bottom. But you never know. Alt H. A, U, unwrap. Boop. It looks better. This one's bugging me. Why would this look any different after applying the modifier? I'm wondering if the clipping, if there was a point that just didn't clip. But I don't think that's going to be the case. Yeah, I don't know why. I think this guy, I'm going to see what happens if I do that. Basically just sculpt these into the same shape as that one. But I can see that it's still in the colors, it's showing me the distortion. I don't like it. I don't like it. I did something that I ought not to. Why? It would have duplicated. Hmm. Hmm. That's the bottom of the Cobra, right? L- Link. That's these guys. I think I'm good already with the way this is showing, except that I don't like that. So I'm going to use the seam. You unwrap. No, it's just not. That puts it back over here. And where's this guy? So yeah, that's the side that I actually modeled. This is the side that was mirrored. The only thing I can guess is if I choose the edge, it 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 did go all the way, so they're all clipped. There's just very tiny slight differences from the mirror modifier that make this do that, right? It just gets to the point where these have to get um, pushed out, let's say. The only thing I can think of, I have no idea how the inner workings of the program is, other than maybe it's just also calculating distances between the points of the geometry and using that information to try to get the best mapping here. That's the only thing I can think of. In which case, if one of these distances is slightly longer than the one over here, and I'm talking about like 0.00 something, maybe it the the program requires to do the bulge that you see there. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank, man. Where's AI when you need it? Explain to me why. Yeah. AI, explain to me why. Well, what if I do this? What if I take that guy? I'm going to not care what happens with that interior portion because it's going to be pretty much hidden or not seen so much. Do I have it? Control E, clear seam. Okay, so now I've cut it. Do I have these? So I'm going to let the warping happen on the square one and not the other one. Let's see if that helps. Well, that seemed to help, but where did it go? It's over here. And you can see that it's pretty not warped, right? So there's this right here. Where is it? Where is it? There's these right here that are looking like a little warped. I don't know if I want to. Like, if I were to just cut up these ways, maybe that would basically mean take, no. Let's do the opposite one. It doesn't seem to help much. And then you just basically just create another scene. How about this guy? I'm going to undo that. And I'm going to take these and see if they can come out. That would be this guy to this guy. I lost the little square. They went somewhere. I'm thinking. I want to get rid of these. So basically get rid of that guy. And that guy. In which case I'm still a little warped there. Yeah, you go one way or another. I think I'm going to keep it the way I had it, which is I think I hit Y, Control Z. Okay, A, U, unwrap. And now I've got these guys going out. Where? Okay, because there we go. I'll just live with that. And there it is. All fully unwrapped. And kind of like making good use of the image. I'll call that good. At least for this, since we're not really using it. I'm just doing an unwrap video. I'm sure there's people that do much better ones with graphics and animations. No, every graphic and animation that you need to do, you just got to do it with AI. I'm going to show you how to do this with Blender, and then you get AI to help you with your video editing. Okay, that's it. So once that's done, we just go, well, how do we do this? How do we do this? I'm going to use the texture paint. Beep, beep. Right? And the texture paint, I'm going to create so I'm having the pedal light, the aluminium. So I'm going to add, oh, what is that? No way.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What are we gonna do now?
Oh, I'm just gonna add a few minutes here just to paint a little, do a little texture paint on this. But yeah, it's over. That's the hour. Let's add a slot. Peaky. Let's do it 2048. Peaky. Blank. No, let's make it black. Oh no, let's make it. It's supposed to be aluminum, right? So I'm gonna do it like that. Aluminum color. So if it's more or less the color that it had, right? So what that does is that has added this guy. By default, it's going, if I do a Control T, it's using the UV that we just created, the map. I didn't even go into, multiple UV maps. You can have more than one UV map. There's that, and then there's also UDIMs. I'm not gonna. I haven't used them. I used them very little I can't remember what I was doing once, but I don't know much about them. I mean, I've used them, and I basically I just have to re-figure out what goes where to do what. But the whole concept of UDIMs obviously is you use multiple images and it's separated into the UV map area separated into different tiles. Okay, what next? I was going to do texture paint to finish because it's over. It's game over, man. Game over. What are we going to do now? Now I'm going to do texture paint. So now I can paint on here. Do I have? Yes, I do. It's paint hard. Yep. You can paint. Control Z. So now I can paint. And so on this, so now I can add, and yeah, no strength, but I'm going to add it in the black. And let me see what somebody came by and they put something here. And they're just trying to say, let me see. Here. And they used a yellow marker also. So they're yellow with shadow. And oh wait, no. I use, what color is, it's like more like an orange. There. There. It's got shadows and everything. And they also had white. And they just added emphasis. I got no idea what graffiti does, how you graffiti. You can add scratches too. Let's do paint soft and go like that. With the pressure sensitivity there, we can. It's looking blue to me. Right. And then blur it. So now we can see the scratches on there. Somebody has scratched my surface, my beautiful shiny surface. And of course you can also mess with it over here as well. Oh, one thing that the light fixture does have, seeing it from the bottom, is that, at least from the brochure, I noticed that here it has has something that's black. It's like, I think it was shaped something like, oh, I'm on the wrong surface. I'm probably painting up here somewhere. I need to add the same slot on the material that is the light. There we go. Okay, so I'm actually emitting something here. Control T and go back and get the base color. Just so that I can draw that one. I wouldn't do that normally, but see if it'll draw. Did it draw it? Okay, that's because the emission is overpowering it. There we go. Now it looks super dark. There it is. It had some sort of shape like that, like a square. Actually, it had like indentations. Erase. Oh, I can't erase. I cannot erase. Why not? I should be able to erase, right? Mix. Erase alpha. Yeah, I'm not going to see it because the alpha is not hooked up. That's why. Anyway. So it had some sort of shape that showed up there. The unfortunate thing is that when I turn the emissive factor back on, this is not how you would do it, by the way. Oh, it's all the way. So as soon as you go, right, you get that. So I would really need to have that shape come in as the factor to, I'm going to shove it in here, the factor to choose whether to go emissive or not. That's kind of like doing it a little bit. It had like a little black spot. Anyway, I'm having too much fun, right, with Blender for fun. Done with some graffiti. Let me see, you can see it in there a little bit. Control 2. With texture painting with UV unwrapping. Okay, well, I'm calling it for today. Thank you for watching once again.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What are we gonna do now?
Tune in next time if I do another microphone therapy podcast. Microphone therapy session. I should call it microphone therapy session. If I do another microphone therapy session, we'll see. Thanks for watching. Bye.